Hi, I'm Hannah from Hannah's Hobby. I'm here today to show you the different pre-cuts that you can buy at quilt shops. So the first one we're going to talk about is this pre-cut. This is either, you can call them candies or they're called mini charm packs. These are 2.5 inch squares and they usually come in 42 squares. Sometimes if you buy solids, they'll come in like 72 to 120, just depends on what brand and what color you buy. But most of the time if you buy them in any kind of print, they're 2.5 inch squares and they come in about 42 different squares. The next one we're going to talk about is charm pack. This is the mini charm. This is the regular charm pack. These are 5 inch squares. They come in 42 different 5 inch squares. You can also buy these in solids or prints, but this is just a regular charm pack of 5 inch squares. The next size is a layer cake. These come in 42 inch squares.
42 squares.
42 squares. And these are 10 inch squares. So they're 10 inches and there's about 42 of them. And you can buy these in solids. Any of these pre-cuts can be bought in solids or prints or whatever you want to buy. Some of them will come with less, some of them will come with a little bit more. It just depends on what you buy. And then you have a jelly roll. These are 2.5 inch strips. And there's also 42 strips in a jelly roll. And then there's less common, these 4 are your most common pre-cuts. And then you'll find a fat quarter, which is 18 by 22 inches when you unfold it. And that's another common pre-cut, but it's not as common as these other 4 here. You can buy fat quarter bundles that come in there's different prints. Sometimes they'll come in a fat quarter bundle of 10. Sometimes you can buy them in a bundle of 30. It just depends on where it's from. Another one is a half yard bundle. You don't usually see these very often because they're not as popular, but they come in half yard cuts of different prints. You can also buy fat eighths, which is half of a fat quarter. You don't see those very often because they're not as popular and most of your patterns that you would buy call for fat quarters or these other pre-cuts that I have laid out here. Very seldom do you find anything that says fat eighth. If you need a fat eighth, you can always take a fat quarter and just cut it in half and that will give you a fat eighth. You can also buy jolly bars, which are 5 by 10 inch rectangles. It's just half of a layer cake. You don't see those very often either because they're not as popular. Most people will just cut down the layer cake in half and make them themselves. And then there's also honey buns, which are 1.5 inch strips rolled into like this, like a jelly roll, but they're 1.5 inch strips instead of 2.5 inch strips. And then just to buy a yard off of a bolt, it would be 42 inches to 44 inches, just regular fabric, by 36 inches. And then you can do like 3/4 of a yard, half a yard, 1/4 of a yard. Those are your most popular cuts that quilt shops will do. Some will do 5/8 or 3/8 or cuts like that, but most of them will do by the quarter yards. And when you buy yardage off of a bolt, I'll show you what that looks like. This is what the bolt will look like with the fabric wrapped around it, and they'll just lay it out, and every time you unfold it, it'll lay out some fabric. You just unfold it till it gets to 36 and that'll be 1 yard. So this is what a bolt of fabric would look like. And these are pre-cuts here. These are the pre-cuts that I have because they're the most often found in a store, but like I said, there's also honey buns and jolly bars and fat eighths that aren't usually found in a lot of quilt shops. But these are your most popular ones. Again, you have the mini charm pack or little candies, 2.5 inch squares. You have the regular charm pack that are 5 inch squares. The layer cake that are 10 inch squares. The jelly roll that are 2.5 inch strips. A half-yard bundle, which are half-yard cuts of different fabrics, and a fat quarter. And those are your pre-cuts that are most popular. If you have any questions, leave a comment below or you can message me. And feel free to share this video with all your friends and family and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Hannah's Hobby, and like my Facebook page. Thank you. Have a good night.